So today isn't really like a story or anything, more of like a kind of warning, I guess, to stay away from Machinima. They are absolute cancer. Now, there's a circle jerk going around at the moment saying, how bad Machinima are, and, circle jerks, 90% of the time, they're really taken out of context, and they're totally undeserved. But with Machinima, it needs more hate. This is the only time where I'm actually saying, please circle jerk about how bad Machinima are. Please go out there, go on the streets, protest how bad Machinima are. Because they are absolute cancer. And I can only say this because I'm not partnered with them anymore. But I used to be. And I know how shit it was and how shit their company is as a whole. So I partnered myself with Machinima ages ago. This was before the commentaries, before the montage parodies. This is back when I was doing Minecraft Let's Plays.
Oh god!
Now if you're wondering what that noise was, that was actual physical cringe leaving my body because I just can't talk about that subject. Fun fact, cringe is the 4th biggest killer right next to bro fisting and community channel trolling videos. It's so bad! And of course we all know what the world's biggest killer is out there. The royalty-free ukulele. Anyway, back to Machinima before I physically cringe myself to death. So like I said, I joined Machinima when I was a relatively small channel. I was just starting out on YouTube, only had a few uploads, I think about 4 or 5. And then I saw this advertisement for Machinima to come and join them, and how you'd get all these benefits, more money, promotion, growth, subs, views. Basically, you'd be a complete idiot to not take this offer. It looked like it had everything you needed to grow your channel and more. So when I was about to join them, I got hit with this huge contract that I had to read, basically explaining all the little details and that. It was really vague, but I do remember it saying the contract was 3 years in length, and at the end of the contract, it auto-renewed itself. So basically, the contract renewed itself infinitely. After 3 years, you would have to step in and contact someone, and then basically say, I want to end the contract, I want to leave. And what they did was, they set me up with a talent manager, and he's basically the guy that co-signed the contract, and he was basically someone that watched over me and gave me advice, tips, basically the supportive role in Machinima. And this sounded really good originally. I was like, oh my god, I've got someone watching my back, I've got my own talent manager. This is amazing. And all Machinima wanted in return was a 3-year contract and 40% of all my earnings. Now, the YouTube earnings are basically, no matter what you make, Google take 45% of that. That never changes. Even if you're fucking PewDiePie, Google always take 45%. But when you're partnered, whatever's left over, the people you're partnered with then take their share of the cut as well. And Machinima wanted 40% of whatever was left over. And at the time I thought, that's not too bad. I get 60%, I get the majority, so, I might as well sign up. I'll get protection and growth, so why not? Now, nearly instantly, I regretted signing the contract, because the second I signed it, my talent manager suddenly said that he was busy, and he only said that after I had signed the contract. And he said he was going away on a business trip, and I'd basically be on my own for the next 5 to 6 weeks. So basically over a month I'd be completely in the dark. So I thought to myself, that's not too bad. YouTube pretty much runs itself anyway. As long as I keep producing content, they'll promote me, I'll get exposure, and hopefully I'll be able to grow my channel. About 4 to 5 months pass and nothing. My channel doesn't grow at all. Views are still dead. I got about 200 to 300 views a video. I mean, for some people that sounds like a lot, but I wanted to grow, and there was no growth. All the analytics were just in a straight line. There was no growth, no subs, nothing. It all stayed exactly the same. And then I had a bit of an epiphany and thought to myself, wait a second. Machinima are taking 40% of my earnings for absolutely nothing. They have not helped me in any way, and yet they're taking 40% of my earnings every month. So eventually I contact Machinima and I'm like, hey guys, I just wanted to talk about, the fact that you've done nothing for my channel, but yet you leech off it and take 40% of my earnings every month. And the only person I had to contact was, of course, my talent manager. And he didn't respond. He didn't respond to any of my emails. I wrote him simple little emails, and then I literally had to resort to begging him for a response. Like, please read this. It's urgent. I'm worried about the future of my channel. And just didn't care. He didn't respond. I tried Machinima's main contact email. Nothing there. Totally blanked. I tried their Zendesk, which they set up, in times for support or help. Not a single response from them either. Every single person in Machinima was just completely ignoring me. I felt totally isolated, but yet they were still coming every month and taking money away from me. They never didn't do that, you know. They kept taking from me every month, but the second I wanted something, they just turned their head and pretended I wasn't there. The only reason why I got out is because I was lucky enough to get an employee of Machinima on Skype, and so I basically jumped through all the hoops. After all the emails, I was eventually given someone Skype who worked at Machinima. And that was a huge barrier crossed because I never even got a response on the emails. And to get someone on Skype was amazing. The weird thing is, this guy was really supportive. He actually helped me and he was really communicative and responded pretty much instantly when he could. He was actually really supportive, and this was weird because in the past, I've just been completely ignored by Machinima, just with these walls of copy-paste emails, or usually just no response at all. What I remember this guy saying to me was, what we can do is we can increase your cut and give you a better cut. And at that point, I was just sick of Machinima. I absolutely hated it. I hated being ignored. I hated having problems with ad revenue or copyright notices and how they just ignored me. So when he gave me that offer, I saw it as Machinima saying to me, you know, come on, jump back down into the rabbit hole. But I didn't want to do it. I wanted nothing to do with Machinima. So I said to him, you know, you're a nice guy. I appreciate the offer, but no, thank you. Just get me out of Machinima. And he was just like, yeah, sure. And within a week, I was unpartnered from Machinima. The thing is, though, I actually had a bit of a revelation because after talking to that guy, that employee at Machinima, who was actually really helpful and really supportive, I realised that Machinima isn't total cancer, but the front of it is. The walls of emails, the copy-paste text. In my opinion, Machinima have basically taken on so many applicants and so many affiliates that they don't have the resources to support all of them. So they hide behind copy-paste emails or just ignoring affiliates as a whole completely. You've got the few employees, like this guy who helped me, scrambling around trying to help or contact people, but there just isn't enough manpower or not enough resources. This is Machinima's fault. This is like, you know, the higher-ups in Machinima who thought it'd be a good idea to take on as many little aspiring Minecraft YouTube kids as possible. Most people joined Machinima because they were naive and they didn't understand how bad the system was. That's the entire reason why they've done so well. And when you need help and when you need support, you either get a copy-paste email with information that isn't helpful or you get totally ignored. And honestly, Machinima isn't the only one to blame. I've been with a few networks now and the majority of them are just garbage, honestly. They give you little to no support. But Machinima is definitely at the bottom of the pile, or one of the bottom ones at the pile. But they're not the only offender. You know, like I said, I've been with a few networks, and the majority of them are just garbage. The one I'm with now, I'm thankfully enjoying it, and they are actually very supportive, and they're bringing me opportunities and helping me grow. So thankfully, I found a decent network. You need to do your research before you join a network, because the majority of them are going to want you to sign on for a year or more. Also, never sign on to a contract for more than a year. Never, ever do it. It's the worst idea. A lot can happen in a year, and by the end of that year, you might want to jump ship or something. So, and if you sign on for more than a year, you're not going to have that opportunity. A prime example of a worst case scenario with a network would be a close friend to me, Ross Boomsocks. And he's been stuck with Machinima for a very, very long time now. And he didn't have the luxury of me, of meeting the right contacts and getting out of Machinima. Unfortunately, all the contacts that I met, they've been laid off from Machinima. And this is an infamous thing that happens with Machinima. Basically, anyone you talk to is usually then laid off by Machinima, seeming that they take on a lot of employees during the summer or winter period and then lay them off the next year. So you've always got to jump onto another contact or another person, and whenever you try and get something resolved, you're forwarded to someone else who just got employed, and they need to take time to learn your case and what's going on. It's a horrible, vicious cycle, and Ross is stuck in the middle of it now. But he has a lot of support. He's actually recently been on Drama Alert with Keemstar, so I'm hoping that he'll get a lot more recognition, and Machinima will, you know, eventually see, you know, that a lot of controversies being started by this just complete neglectance of people, and hopefully they'll turn it around. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it was more of a serious toned one, but honestly, I have a lot of deep hatred for the way I've been treated by Machinima, and now that it's happening to my friends and other people, I feel like it's really time to expose them and show them for who they are, and get people out of Machinima, and make sure that you, the viewer, who is thinking of joining Machinima, stay well away from. Be sure to comment down below what you want me to talk about next, and like if you would kick Machinima in the nuts. I know I would.
She disappeared across the boardwalk. She keeps the sunset bright with movement in her eyes. She knows she gets away with murder. Swallows